Hey guys, welcome back to FreckleFace Finance, where we discuss personal finances open and honestly so that you can live the life that you deserve. I don't know if it was just me, but I feel like January was like 6 months long. I don't know if it was because I was sick or because, I had a birthday and I did a lot of activities, but I feel like January just dragged by and definitely dragged me. Like, I can tell that I definitely went over my budget in January, mainly because I didn't even start my budget until halfway through the month. So the first half of the month, I was just kind of doing my own thing. I know that I was sick, and so I was definitely Uber Eatsing a lot of stuff. Is that even a verb? Uber Eatsing. If not, I'm claiming it. But I was definitely like having a lot of Uber Eats sent to my house because I just was not grocery shopping, sending tissues, picking up medicine and stuff for me from Amazon. So yeah, I am definitely interested to see what went on in my January budget. And if that is something that you're interested in, then just keep on watching. So before we get into my January budget, I want to talk about what my January goals were from my previous video. So one of my goals for January was to schedule out time that I'm going to spend with my family for this year. So you guys know that I live out of town from my family, and so whenever I go and visit, it's associated with some type of flight, rental car, or extra activities that I'm doing when I'm visiting my family and friends. And so for this year, I wanted to strategically place out, look at me, strategically, that's the project manager in me. But yeah, so I wanted to lay out specific times that I want to go visit my family and then kind of get an idea for what I'm going to spend for those specific activities. And so with this goal, I was able to plan out specific times throughout the year that I want to visit my family, and then I can actually start budgeting for those associated costs. So rental cars, flights, and any extra activities that I plan to do when I'm visiting my family. And so I think that that would help me better be able to stay on budget throughout the year because I was able to plan out specific times within the year that I want to go visit. So a big overarching goal for me for 2024 is I really want to focus on health and wellness this year. So in January, I was able to identify some half marathons that I wanted to sign up for. So I signed up for 2 half marathons so far. Both of those are going to be outside of the DC area, so it's going to require me to travel there. So I'm definitely going to have to make sure that I set aside money throughout the year so that I can make those trips happen. If you guys are interested in watching me train for a half marathon, I'll go ahead and link my channel so you can watch me on my FreckleFace runner. I have actually ran 14 half marathons so far. I signed up for 2 this year, but I want to sign up for 1 more. So if you guys have any recommendations on any half marathons that I should run, and it can really be anywhere, I'm open to traveling. If you have a favorite race that you like, just leave me a comment down below and I'll check it out. And so my third overarching goal for 2024 was to continue to invest aggressively. And so I know I have a raise coming. I haven't physically seen it in my paycheck yet, but I know it's coming. So I went ahead and upped my automatic payments to increase my 401k contributions as well as my Roth IRAs that I have outside of my 401k. So that will hopefully get me on track to continue to invest aggressively in 2024. So I would say that I definitely hit that goal for January. So I would say my January goals were a success. I hit 3 out of 3. Really excited about that. And so let's get into what the goals are going to be for February. So I really try to hit SMART goals at work and in my personal life. And so I only have 3 goals for February, and I'll probably keep that consistently throughout the year because I don't want to have so many goals that I'm overwhelmed and that I get discouraged when I'm not hitting the majority of them. So the first goal in February that I really want to focus on is in the health and wellness category of my overarching goals for 2024. And so I have started half marathon training. And so for February, I only want to have 3 or less days in red. And so pretty much every day that I hit a running goal that is on my training program, I'll make it green. And then if I don't run or don't hit the goal, I'll make it red. And so for February, my goal is to have 3 or less days that I didn't hit my running goal, or essentially 3 workouts that I missed. So goal number 2 would be in the financial category of my 2024 goals, and that is to stick to my travel budget this month. So I know I went way over budget in January. Once we get into the spreadsheet, I just know it. Like, you know how you can just tell that you just been spending a lot of money? I can tell I spent a lot of money in January. So for February, I would like to clean it up. I want to like really decrease the number of times that I'm eating out. So I know I have travel coming up in February, and that can definitely impact my budget if I just get carried away. And so my second goal for February is to make sure that I stick to my travel budget. My third goal for February is to challenge myself not to eat out at any restaurants. So I know in January, like I said, I was sick and I was Uber eating food to myself and just trying to like stay out of the house because like y'all, I was down. So in February, I want to try to make that up and stay out of the restaurants and do not Uber Eats myself anything. And so I think one of the things that I can improve on in February is making sure that I'm meal prepping, because I noticed that when I work late or I'm at work and I did not pack a lunch, I have a tendency to just order myself some food. And so for February, I want to make sure that I'm meal prepping, taking my lunch to work so that I'm not tempted to order any food and have it delivered to myself. Alright you guys, so we talked about those February goals. So let's get into the January budget so we can see how we did. Alright you guys, so I have the January budget open and we're going to go ahead and jump straight to where my money is going, what I've budgeted for, and what the actual expenses were. And so what I like about this spreadsheet is whenever I overspend in a certain category, it will automatically turn red so I can easily see what areas I didn't meet on my budget. And so with Amazon, I purchased something off of Amazon. I told you guys that I purchased like Kleenex, and I know I purchased some Mucinex, and I was not expecting to get sick. So I definitely did not budget that for the month of January. Also too, I know that I was gonna have some business expenses in January, and so I was able to budget for that, but that is something that does not typically occur. It's just that my business is currently not profitable, and so at the beginning of the year, I kind of set aside money that I know I'm gonna be spending throughout the year in my business just to kind of keep it afloat. So that is not gonna be a monthly expense for me. For gas, I can see that I overspent in the gas category. And I was looking back through my bank statements to see why did I spend so much on gas, because my car does not even hold that much gas and I didn't take any road trips or anything. But this is because I went to visit my family in December, and I always drive my mom's car, and what I like to do is I always make sure to fill up her car before I leave. And so I spent gas there and I was driving around a lot more than usual, and then when I came back to my home, I purchased gas and put it in my vehicle as well. So that is why I overspent in that category. So I can also see that I overspent in the groceries category. And again, I could have probably set aside this amount for gifts because this was a gift. So because I was home visiting my parents, before I left, I made sure to stock up their freezer so that they didn't have to worry about any food for the month of January, which I'm happy that I did because it ended up being a huge snowstorm there. And so yes, I did not spend this amount of money on groceries. This was me gifting my parents, you know, meals for the month of January because I was staying at their house. And then for restaurants, I overspent in this category, and that is definitely because I was not meal preparing. So whenever I'm staying late or if I'm working in the office, I tend to eat out. And so because I did not meal prep, I knew I overspent in this category. Alright you guys, so let's move over to the February budget and let's fill this out. So for February, I know that I am gonna do some shopping because I'm going out of town later this month. And so there are some clothing items that I wanna make sure that I buy. So my clothing budget for February is gonna be $200. And so that definitely doesn't carry over into every month. And so I don't mind. And so hopefully I can get some staple items and be able to use, I'm going somewhere warm. Hopefully I'll be able to use those items for this summer so I don't feel that bad. For gas, that's pretty standard, $200. My friend has a birthday coming up, and so I want to get them a gift. I'm not actually sure what I plan to get them, but I have budgeted $200 for that. So one of the things that I saw on my January budget as I was completing my expense sheet is that I did not previously budget for parking. And so this month, I know that I like to frequent like little coffee shops and stuff to get work done. So I want to make sure that I budget, you know, for parking this time. And then also for personal care, like I said, I am going out of town later this month. And so I've really been contemplating on if I want to get my hair done or not. I definitely want to get my nails done because I have like really crappy nails. So I definitely want to get my nails done, but I've been playing with the idea of doing my hair myself or potentially going to a shop. So either way, I budgeted $300 for this particular area because that is kind of like vacation prep. Another thing that I noticed in my January expenses is that I didn't budget for tolls. And so I am gonna go ahead and budget for tolls. I live in the DMV, and so I'm gonna experience tolls. So I just went ahead and budgeted $10 for that. And so another category area that is gonna be kind of high is for travel. And so this is what one of my goals were for February, is I wanted to make sure that I stuck with my travel budget. And so while I'm out of town, my plan is to have a budget of $600. So that is to include expenses such as going out to eat, activities, any type of souvenirs that I want to get. That is supposed to be conclusive of all of those travel items. And then of course, when we go over to the savings, I have automatic payments for my brokerage accounts as well as my retirement accounts. So I should be good to go in that area. All right, so we'll go down to the debt, and yeah, this is pretty standard from last month, so there's not any crazy changes. I actually didn't spend any money on my credit cards for January, so this should be pretty self-explanatory. I did budget, so my Amex card, I think I'm gonna change this to 0. So for January, I had like, my Uber Eats is connected to my Amex card, and so is my Amazon account. And so that was 100, but my goal is to do no Uber Eats and no Amazon. And if I do Amazon, I'm gonna take that out of the, what was that? Clothing. So yeah, so if I do get Amazon, I'm gonna take it out of the clothing budget. And so I don't really need anything on my Amex card for February. And so if we scroll down, I'm supposed to have $563 left. And so I will put that extra money towards my debt. So we're gonna change this because I wanna pay off my Capital One card first. So we're gonna change this to $15.65. Yep, and so 60 cents. We'll just leave a little wiggle room of 60 cents. And so when you budget everything out, so like I have 60 cents left, or that's very close to $0. This is called a zero sum budget. And so what that pretty much means is that every single dollar, every single cent has a place to go. So like I said, like when you saw this, when I had money left over, I just put that towards my debt. And so every single dollar has a place to go. And so that's the type of budgeting system that I like to use. Alright guys, so I finished budgeting for the month of February, and I really think that going through my January budget and seeing the areas that I overspent in is definitely going to help improve my budget for February. So being able to see that, I definitely think that one of my main focuses this month should be on meal prepping and making sure that I got food at home and I'm sticking to it. So anyways, thank you guys so much for watching this video. If you enjoyed it even a little bit or found it a little bit helpful, please make sure to give me a thumbs up so this video can be pushed out to a larger audience, because I think the information is very useful. As always, I appreciate you, and I'll see you in my next one. Bye.